Dumped my boyfriend because I wanted someone more successful. When I came back, a stunning woman opened the door, wearing an engagement ring. She smiled and said, "Oh, you're the ex. He said you might show up. Too bad you're too late." I'm a 32-year-old woman from Chicago. I met Jake when I was 25. He was 27, working as a freelance graphic designer. We met at an art exhibit downtown, and there was an instant connection. Jake was kind, funny, and had this passion for life that was contagious. We moved in together after a year, and for a while, everything felt perfect. But as time went on, I started feeling restless. My friends were marrying lawyers, doctors, and entrepreneurs. They were buying houses in the suburbs, driving nice cars, and vacationing in Europe. Meanwhile, Jake and I were scraping by, living paycheck to paycheck in our tiny apartment. I began to resent our lifestyle. I wanted more stability, more luxury, more success. Jake was content with his art and simple life, but I wasn't. I met Mark at a networking event. He was a 35-year-old investment banker, charming and successful. He took me to fancy restaurants, bought me expensive gifts, and made me feel like I was living the life I deserved. I started comparing him to Jake, and the differences were stark. Jake's idea of a date night was cooking dinner together and watching a movie at home. Mark took me to five-star restaurants and Broadway shows. I convinced myself that I deserved better and broke up with Jake. He was devastated. I remember him standing in our apartment, tears in his eyes, asking me why. I told him I needed someone more ambitious, more successful. At first, life with Mark was everything I thought I wanted. We traveled, dined at the best places, and I was introduced to a world of luxury I'd only dreamed of. But as time went on, I realized something was missing. Mark was always busy, always working. Our conversations were shallow, and I started feeling lonely. I missed the deep connection I had with Jake, the late-night talks, the shared dreams, the genuine laughter. After a year with Mark, I ended things. I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd made a huge mistake. I decided to reach out to Jake, hoping we could reconnect. I went to our old apartment, the one we shared. I was nervous but hopeful. I knocked on the door, and after a moment, it opened. A stunning woman stood there, wearing a beautiful engagement ring. She looked at me, smiled, and said, "Oh, you're the ex. He said you might show up. Too bad you're too late." I was speechless. She introduced herself as Lily, Jake's fiancée. She was kind but firm, making it clear that Jake had moved on. I walked away that day feeling a mix of emotions, regret, sadness, and a deep sense of loss. I realized that in my pursuit of success and luxury, I'd given up something truly valuable. Jake had found someone who appreciated him for who he was, and I was left with the consequences of my choices. It's been a year since that day. I've focused on rebuilding my life, learning to appreciate the simple joys and understanding what truly matters. I wish I could say I walked away and never looked back, but that would be a lie. After I saw Lily at the door wearing that ring, smiling like she owned the world, I couldn't stop thinking about it. About him. About how fast he moved on. About how he seemed happy without me. And that killed me. I told myself I was just shocked, maybe a little bitter, maybe even jealous, but deep down I knew it was more than that. I had convinced myself that I left Jake because I deserved more, but the truth is, I was scared. Scared of settling. Scared of missing out. But what if what I had with him was the best thing I'd ever get? I didn't do anything for a while. Just sat with that feeling. But the more I sat, the more it ate at me. I started doing little things I knew were wrong. I looked at his Instagram, even though it was private. Lily's was public though. She posted everything. Their brunch dates. Trips to Michigan. Cozy nights on the couch. Him smiling. Her in his t-shirts. I zoomed in on the ring over and over. It wasn't big, but it was real. He had given her something he didn't give me. A future. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I messaged him. Just, "Hey." That's it. No context. No questions. But I knew he'd know who it was. He didn't answer. Not the first day. Not the second. But then, 2 days later, I got a reply. "Hey, not sure what you're looking for here." I stared at the message for a long time. It wasn't warm. It wasn't mean either. Just neutral. Like he'd already decided I didn't matter. I typed and deleted 100 things. Finally, I sent. "Just wanted to see how you're doing. You look happy." He replied, "I am. Hope you are too." That was it. No opening, no invitation. Nothing. But I couldn't stop. I found out where he worked now, a small creative studio in the West Loop. I went there. Didn't go in. Just watched from across the street like a creep. He looked good. More mature. Confident. Like he'd grown into himself. I felt like a ghost watching someone else's life. Then one night, I ran into his friend Sam at a bar. Sam had always been the quiet, observant type. We made small talk, then I asked about Jake. Sam paused. Then he said something that punched me in the chest. You really hurt him. Took him a long time to feel like he was enough again. I wanted to defend myself, say it wasn't like that I didn't mean to, but what was the point? It was like everyone else had moved forward and I was stuck, drowning in my own mess. But here's the twist. A month after that bar run-in, I got a call. It was from Jake's number. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. I answered, already breathless. But it wasn't Jake. It was Lily. Her voice was calm. Too calm. She said, I found your messages. I know you've been reaching out. I think you should stop. I tried to apologize, said I didn't mean any harm, just wanted to talk. She cut me off. He doesn't need closure. He already got it. You left. That was the closure. Before she hung up, she added, you made your choice. Now let him be happy. I wanted to scream, but what could I say? She was right. Still, I couldn't let it go. And that's when I started seeing something strange. A few days after the call, Jake posted a photo on Lily's page. It was a little blurry. Taken by someone else, I think. But there was a shadow in the glass door behind them. A figure. Watching. It looked like me. But I hadn't been near them. At least, not since I went to his office. I started panicking. Did someone follow me? Was I losing it? I thought maybe Lily was messing with me, trying to scare me off. Or maybe Jake wanted me to see it. Wanted to make a point. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept going over everything. The shadow. The call. The engagement. My own reflection staring back at me. Then, I got a message. Not from Jake. Not from Lily. An unknown number. It said, you're not the only one who regrets losing him. That's when things started getting weird. The message haunted me. You're not the only one who regrets losing him. I read it over and over. There was no name. No photo. Just those words. I didn't reply at first. I wasn't even sure it was meant for me. But something about it felt personal, like someone was watching me. Like someone knew. A few days later, I got another message from the same number. You think you're the reason Jake moved on? You're not. That's when my stomach turned. I typed back, who is this? No reply. For hours. Then just one line came back. Ask him about Natalie. Natalie. The name meant nothing to me. I had no idea who that was. I went back through memories, old photos, old convos. Nothing. I even checked Lily's posts again. No mention of a Natalie. But the name wouldn't leave my head, so I did what I shouldn't have done. I called Jake. It rang once. Twice. Straight to voicemail. I didn't leave a message. I just sat on my couch staring at the wall. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. It was him. Why are you calling me? He asked. His voice was cold. Detached. I just need to ask you something, I said. Silence. Do you know someone named Natalie? Long pause. Then Jake laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. More like a bitter exhale. You really have no idea, do you? I said nothing. She's my sister, he said finally. That hit me like a punch. Jake had never talked about having a sister. Not once in all our years together. I was stunned. I didn't know you had a sister. She died, he said. 2 years before I met you. Drunk driver. It's not something I talked about. Ever. I felt like a fool. But before I could say anything, he added, why are you asking about her? I told him about the messages. The shadow. The photo. Everything. He was quiet for a while, then said, that photo wasn't you. Lily's ex has been following us. He's not stable. We've been dealing with it. That's who you're probably hearing from. Everything inside me turned ice cold. You're saying, this guy, Lily's ex, is the one sending me messages? Jake sighed. I don't know. But please, if he's contacting you, block him. He's not your problem. He's not mine either anymore. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Because the next message came with a photo. It was me. Sitting at a coffee shop I always go to. Head down. Reading something on my phone. The angle suggested whoever took it was inside, maybe a few tables away. My hands started shaking. Then the message, you still care about him. So do I. Let's talk. I froze. I wanted to block the number, but curiosity had me gripped by the throat. Who was this guy? What did he want? I ended up meeting him. We agreed on a public place. A crowded park downtown, middle of the day. When I saw him, I knew right away. Something about the way he stood, like he didn't belong in his own skin. Late 30s, pale, wore a blazer like he wanted to look important, but hadn't slept in days. His name was Alec. He talked fast. said Lily cheated on him with Jake. That they met at some design showcase. That Jake had no idea she was in a relationship. That when she dumped him, she ghosted hard. No closure. No goodbye. I sat there, unsure what to believe. Then he showed me his phone. Texts. Photos. Dated months before Jake and Lily got together publicly. Messages that looked like Lily telling him she was torn and scared, but excited. I'm not crazy, he said. I lost everything. My job. My place. And she's acting like I never existed. He looked at me, eyes bloodshot. You left Jake thinking you were the problem. But Lily? She's not who she says she is. And then he said something I still can't shake. Jake doesn't know everything. Yet. I asked him if he was planning to tell Jake. He just smiled and said, maybe, maybe not. Depends on what you do next. I left that meeting more confused than ever. I didn't want to believe Lily cheated. I didn't want to believe I still had feelings for Jake. But suddenly the ground beneath me didn't feel so solid anymore. That night, I got another message. No words. Just a video. Jake and Lily. Sitting on their balcony. Laughing. Drinking wine. The camera slowly zooming in on them from across the street. Whoever sent it was still watching. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. That video, someone spying on Jake and Lily, that zoomed-in shot of their life like a predator watching prey, looped in my head until morning. It wasn't just creepy, it was dangerous. I had to say something. Not to protect Lily. But Jake? He didn't deserve this. Not again. I texted him, we need to talk. It's serious. It's about Lily's ex. He replied within minutes. Meet me at the studio. After hours. I got there at 7. His studio in the West Loop was dimly lit, full of sketches and mood boards, smelling like coffee and old paper. He looked tired but calm, like he had braced for something awful. I met Alec, I said, cutting right to it. He's been watching you. He's not over her. Jake didn't even flinch. I know, he said. Lily told me. He sent stuff to her sister. Tried to ruin her job. We were thinking of getting a restraining order. That should have been it, right? Except, I couldn't stop myself. There's more, I said, swallowing hard. He showed me texts. From when she was still with him. From before you two got together. Jake, he says she cheated. He stared at me. Long and hard. Do you believe him? I hesitated. I don't know, I admitted. But the messages, they looked real. He turned his back to me, walked over to his desk. For a second, I thought he was going to cry. But then he laughed. A dry, bitter laugh that didn't sound anything like him. You think I haven't asked myself that 100 times? He said. That I haven't wondered if she just picked me as the next guy? I was stunned. He turned around. But even if she did, what does that say about me? I'm the guy people use when they're figuring themselves out. I didn't answer. What could I say? Then the door opened. Lily. She must have seen my car parked outside. Her eyes moved from me to Jake, then back to me. Her lips were tight, hands clenched. You told her? She asked Jake, voice sharp. I didn't have to, I said. Alec did. She looked at me like I was dirt. Of course. Of course he found you. Jake stepped between us. Did you cheat on him, Lily? Yes or no? Silence. Then quietly, not even looking at him, she said, it wasn't cheating. We were ending. He just refused to accept it. Jake closed his eyes like that made it worse. Did you sleep with me before you officially broke up? He asked. Lily blinked. We were already done emotionally. Jake's face crumbled. That's not what I asked. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence was louder than any scream. Jake grabbed his coat. I need air. He stormed out, slamming the door behind him. The sound echoed through the studio. Lily turned to me. You happy now? I stared at her, shaking. No, I'm not. She stormed out too, muttering something I couldn't make out. I sat down. Alone. In the place where Jake built his dreams. Surrounded by art and pieces of his soul. And I cried. For what I lost. For what he lost. For everything that should have been different. The next few days were chaos. Jake went quiet. Lily deleted her Instagram. Alec kept messaging me, but I blocked him. I was done being his pawn. Then, one evening, I got a text from Jake. Want to talk? We met at a coffee shop in Logan Square. He looked different. Not angry. Just tired. I broke it off with Lily, he said. Not just because of the past. But because I realize I don't want to live with shadows. I want truth. Even if it hurts. I asked him if he hated me. He said no. I think I understand you now more than I ever did. You weren't looking for more money. You were looking for certainty. And I didn't give that to you back then. I told him I still loved him. I did. Maybe I always had. He looked down, then back up. I'm not ready to go back. But I'm not shutting the door. We hugged. Long reel. No promises. Weeks passed. No contact. Then one night, I opened my door and found a small package. Inside, a sketch. Of us. From years ago. Laughing in our old apartment. No note. Just his initials. I don't know what's next. I know I hurt him. I know I hurt myself. But maybe, just maybe, facing the truth, his, mine, Lily's, is how healing starts. And maybe, one day, we'll draw something new. Something honest. Maybe, healing, not over, but finally, honest.